Got the SaltLakeMotoTwins.
Yep.
Got DJ Osborne on the KTM 85 front-ended bike.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
And I'm going to be on the brand new Canadian Armstrong XR-E first ride in America.
What?
Charge Cycle Works is the first to ride this bike.
That's
so
cool.
let's go have some fun. All right, we're on the Armstrong XR-E first ride. First ride in the United States of America. Our wheels are already on this bike. It's got a 16-19 setup. One very interesting thing about this bike, it does not have a rear brake that's a physical rear brake. It has a Regen rear brake, so the electric motor is the brake. So when I pull the left lever, the electronics in the motor is braking the rear wheel. Something very unique. This is still technically a prototype bike, so battery range and things like that are still TBD. We'll do a little bit of battery comparison between the Surron and Teleria that we have with us, but just know that, oh, look at that. Okay, so that would never happen on a gas bike. Like, that deer had no idea I was coming. And that's one thing that's so special about these electric bikes, is you just don't see that when you're riding a gas motorbike. The power delivery on this thing is nice. This is a BAC8000. It's currently tuned to 650 phase amps, about 15 kilovolts. It's tuned a little bit bigger, higher than the bigger tunes on the Surrons we run. And the power delivery on this is really smooth, considering it's turned up as high as it is.
Trying to downshift.
You were going for the gears?
Yeah, I was trying to downshift.
Oh, I need first.
Oh, it's so funny.
How many times have you reached for your rear brake?
A lot. I do that a ton.
Armstrong's running the Fast Ace fork up front, the same one that we sell on our website. Perfect choice, because this is a little bit heavier than a Surron, and that's a pretty stout, stiff, strong fork. So, got all the fork options out there. It's a great choice. Some little jumps through here. Fork feels pretty good. It's not bottoming out over these humps. And it feels pretty controlled. Same with the rear end. Rear end actually feels better than I expected it to. It's got a Fast Ace shock on it. And this suspension is better than any suspension that's coming on the Surron. That's some pretty big rocks I just slammed into. Felt pretty good. Really impressed with the power output on this thing. It feels awesome. The power on this feels the way you wish your Surron felt. The power reacts quickly, so when I stab the throttle off these little drops, the front end comes right up. Liking the power. I'm surprised this is a 15 kilowatt tune. Maybe it's that extra amperage that makes it feel as smooth as it does. Because when we're riding Surrons at 15 kilowatts, we turn them down on the display. We're not actually running them at the full 15. We're running more like 8, 10, 12. Now the power is really good. You know what I think it really is? I think it's the motor. So this is a much more powerful motor. It's capable of 7,500 watts, I believe, whereas the Surron is only 5. So it's about a 30% more powerful motor. And what's cool about that, if you study the Stark Varg, so that thing's got a monster 80 horsepower motor on it. They didn't put an 80 horsepower motor on there because the bike needs 80 horsepower. They did it because when you ride that motor at half power, which is a normal human being, it's running at its most efficient power output. So you're using less energy than you would be on a smaller Surron type motor. So when you push the Surron motor at full, like 15 kilowatts, you're actually wasting a lot of battery. It's not as efficient at its full power output. It's converting a lot of that energy to heat. So I think what I'm liking about the power output on this one is because this motor's technically probably only running about half of its capable power right now. It feels super smooth and just feels really great. It reminds me of the KTM Freeride motor. The Freeride is probably the smoothest electric bike I've ever ridden. Phenomenal power output, and this reminds me of that. I will say the Regen rear brake, a bit too touchy for my taste. I would like it to be a little more progressive, and I know that they're still working on the tuning on that. But if you're wondering about how powerful that brake is, it's more powerful than a mountain bike brake. So the trick they have is to tune it in the software to be a little bit more progressive, because it's plenty powerful. If I pull it, it locks up the rear end with very little effort. So I just came up a really steep hill. Let's see what a Regen brake feels like going down the steep hill, because it's pretty steep. So this is totally a one finger lever on this Regen brake. You do not need more than one finger. Good power, the rear end's locking up, and it's kind of pulsing, almost like anti-lock brakes, which I don't know if that's something done on purpose on the tune or what causes that. But we've got good braking power. The front brake on this is weak. They're experimenting with different brakes. Yeah, no problem. That worked fine. I'm really liking the seat, super comfy, and it's long, like it feels like a comfortable moto seat. Doubting the geometry on this when I first saw the bike. It looks really raked out. Now that I'm used to it, it's not too bad. I think I would still pull the head angle in a little bit. And maybe they'll make some adjustments like that before production. But it actually rides better than I thought it was going to. Loving the power on this. This is like one of the best tunes I've ever ridden. This is feeling great. And I think it's because of the motor being a higher output motor. It makes me want to ride a KO motor on the Surron to see if it feels this smooth and progressive. I see a smile on your face. I think you're having fun on the electric.
It is fun.
I know why. It's orange. It matches your outfit. That's why you're liking it. We just need to throw a couple KTM stickers on here and you'll be happy. Look at that view.
Oh, it's so pretty. The arm pump.
Oh, you got arm pump? Wait a second. You are Mrs. Under Armour, who just came back from a week-long Under Armour camp with all these professional footballers, and you got arm pump?
Well, this thing is like, the throttle's like way looser than the Honda.
Blame it on the throttle.
Yeah.
Miss Under Armour has arm pump.
I do.
You're holding on too tight, Brielle. What are you doing?
On that thing, it's like loose. Like you have to hold on tight.
All right, so the 60 volt is at what percentage?
78.
78. You've been out riding in the back, maybe riding a little bit slower than the rest of us.
Well, I have to be careful with the dust.
That Telerio with a stock
62.
battery is at 62, which I'm surprised it's that high. What was this bike at? The
67.
67 on the 72 volt. The Armstrong doesn't have a display on it right now because it's still in prototype development. So there's no way for me to check the battery level. So I'm in here in backdoor, Bluetoothed into the controller, and I can see that I'm at 68% battery. So that's pretty good. Modded 72 volt and the Armstrong are almost exact battery at the moment. So that's pretty cool. Man, this thing has so much power. It's easier to go up that than on my KTM because you're always in the perfect gear. So much power. That was easy. That was a much steeper hill than it looked like on camera.